My name is Gregfina Korishpa. Haven't you heard about Focal Online TV?
You say Focal Online TV?
Focal Online TV is located within a Tobo village community along the Japanese highway.
Tell me more about the platform.
This platform, called Focal Online TV Daily Edition of Inside the Print Media, does not encourage any form of dialogue between the viewers and the presenters.
Oh, you mean nobody calling there?
No, you can't call on a show. Let me talking out like when we're no calling there. So all you can do is you will listen to the news, and they can also encourage you to buy the newspaper to listen to the news in details.
But do you do viewer recognition at times?
Oh yes, we do viewer recognition. When you are watching, we notify you, and sometimes we even appreciate you on a show, telling you thank you for always following us. We also encourage you to share the live stream, because the more you share the live stream, we transform and we transition ourselves as a broadcast team as well.
Wow. So when can I better get this program you are talking about?
This program is aired every Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. to 10:45. The program runs for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And guess what?
Wow.
We bring you hot stories of our trending situation within our country, Liberia. Imagine hearing stories from Hot Pepper newspaper, from the Daily Observer newspaper, from Front Page Africa. Are you a lover of Front Page Africa?
Oh yes, I'm a lover of
Front Page Africa, and the Women Voices, and a lot more. Not forgetting international news, BBC,
wow.
CNN, ABC News. We bring you headlines from those standpoints.
Wow, that is very, very, very amazing.
So we say, join us every day on the daily edition of Inside the Print Media at 10 a.m. with the headlines of top stories in our country and the world at large on Focal Online TV.
A pleasant good morning to people who are watching us. Wherever you are, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Depends upon your geographical location. This is how I choose to openly welcome you to the program Inside the Print Media. This is the most informative program where we bring you developments relating to our country, Liberia, and sometimes we bring you developments pertaining to the world. So this morning, we want to say welcome again for those of you who are gearing up or bracing up for work, or for those of you who have gone to work at your respective job places. We want to say keep it up, keep persistent, keep the struggle, keep persevering. Um, there is actually sources when you labor or when you strive. So this morning we have 4 newspapers in our possessions. We have the Daily Observer newspaper. We have the New Dawn newspaper. We have the Front Page Africa newspaper. We are very sorry that we are unable to bring you story regarding the Hot Pepper newspaper. So we substituted the Hot Pepper newspaper for the Women Voices newspaper, and we will definitely bring you one development from the Women Voices newspaper. This is the paper where talked about human interest developments in the media landscape of Liberia. So keep sharing this live video. My name is K. Lyndon Toba, and let's take a short break. When we come back, we fill you in strictly with the headlines as well as the content from the various newspaper that was outlined to you. Okay, welcome back, folks. Many thanks to you for always staying with us. What we do on the program Inside the Print Media, we inform you about issues taking place in Liberia. So let's run strictly over to the Daily Observer newspaper. The Daily Observer newspaper, the first headline say, no increment in rice price. No increment in rice price. A lot of you have been following this development for for a few while, and there has been this controversies from all of the media, radio stations in the country with regard to the staple food in Liberia. So on yesterday, the president had a very strategic meeting with the rice importers. So this is the developers. Let's go and bring you the content of this particular development. No increment in rice price. Kula Fofana told journalists on Tuesday, May 21, 2024, that President Bouaka has instructed rice importer not to increase the price of rice. The president has given an instruction to the rice importer that he doesn't want the price of rice to be increased. So let's see. Then they say government clarifies and assures Liberians of its commitment to stabilizing the economy. The government of Liberia announced on Tuesday that there is no increase in the price of the country's staple food, rice, which remains at $16.50 per 25 kg bag. The government statement followed a brief meeting between President Joseph Boakat and rice importers in Monrovia. Speaking to a team of reporters Tuesday at the Executive Mansion, Presidential Press Secretary Kula Fofana told journalists that President Bouaka has instructed rice importers not to increase the price of rice and that the price of 25 kg bag of rice remains the same. It can be recalled that the government, through the Ministry of Commerce, Monday, May 20, at the Ministry of Information press briefing, announced that beginning Tuesday, May 21, the price of Indian parboiled rice could increase from $16.50 to $18.50 due to the import tax by the Indian government. The global rice market is currently facing potential turmoil following India's decision to hack the surcharge on rice production. This move is expected to drive up the cost of rice worldwide, affecting economies heavily dependent on rice imports such as Liberia. In anticipation of this global prices increase, the Liberian government swiftly engaged with major rice importers to stabilize the domestic market. Minister of Commerce Amin Mudai conducted a crucial meeting with importers over the weekend to address the emerging crisis. The importer had initially requested a retail price hike to $20, up from the existing $17.50, citing the global economic situations and increased operational costs due to extended shipping routes and additional charges. However, the Ministry of Commerce rejected this proposal, urging importers to remain reasonable to avoid burdening Liberian customers. The government stood firm against selling the 25 kg Indian parboiled rice for $20, despite importers' argument that they could not sustain their businesses on the current pricing structure. This connection is rooted in a history of price increase requests by rice importers. In October 2023, during George Weah administration, importers had sought an increase from $17.50 to $20, but the request was deferred due to the political climate of the election period. The new administration received a similar request in February, outlining reasons such as newly imposed 20% surcharge and an increased transportation cost due to the Middle Western conflict. Despite these pressure, Minister Mudai appealed to importers to maintain lower prices, given the sensitivity of rice as a stable commodity. After intense discussion, a compromise was reached to reduce the price rise to $16.50, with importers agreeing to invest in local rice production and ensure market stability until May. This agreement, however, was challenged when importers sought another price increase to $21 in May, following an additional 4% Indian tariff hike. But Presidential Press Secretary Kula Fofana stated that following a meeting between President Bouakat and the rice importers, the government is now working our modalities to maintain the price of Indian parboiled rice on the market as a commitment to keep the country's economy stable. With this being said, this is how we move over to another headlines on the Daily Observer newspaper. You know, the Daily Observer newspaper is one of the oldest newspaper in Liberia which has been committed to informing Liberian people about what is taking place in our country, Liberia. So let's go over to bring you another headlines. CJL calls for appointment of impeccable characters to the Office of War and Economic Crime Coach. CJL calls for the appointment of impeccable character to the Office of War and Economic Crime Coach. The Coalition of Justice in Liberia is urging President Joseph Dimon Bouaka to carefully consider the characters and allegiances of individuals appointed to the War and Economic Crime Court Office. In a statement released, the CJL emphasized the need for impartiality and accountability in the pursuit of justice for war and economic crimes committed during Liberia's civil war. The CJL, comprising various civil society organizations, human rights advocates, and victims of war crimes, has been advocating for the establishment of a War and Economic Crime Court and the implementation of the Liberia Truth and Reconciliation Commission report for years. With the recent pronouncement of President Bouaka's intention to establish the Office of the War and Economic Crime Court, the CJL is calling for appointments to be made with utmost care and consideration. According to the CJL, those appointed to the office must have impeccable character and must not have any allegiance to trap, political affiliation, corruption, war and economic crimes perpetrators. This is crucial to ensure that the war remains impartial and free from any external influences that may undermine its ability to deliver justice, the CJL said. The Coalition of Justice in Liberia remains committed to working with the government of Liberia and other stakeholders to ensure the War and Economic Crime Court is established and operates with integrity and transparency, said Anthony Charles Sombawi, Chairman Coalition for Justice in Liberia. The CJL believes that this is a crucial step towards healing and reconciliation and a significant step towards let's take a short break. Okay, we have resumed. So Dr. Jalai orders in hot water. Wow, that is very, very interesting. Let's read the content of this particular development. And this is from the New Dawn newspaper. Dr. Jala orders in hot water as Health Minister constitute task force to probe usage drug diversion allegation. A task force has been constituted based on a report by UC and other reports suggesting that donated drugs have been stolen and sold in pharmacies here. Liberia former Health Minister Dr. Wilhelmina Njala and others are in hot water following the constitution of a National Health Task Force to investigate alleged drug diversion. The task force was constituted after the United States Agency for International Development 2023 assessment indicated that most pharmacies in the country were allegedly selling stolen medicine. User reported a scandal in Monrovia on 15 May 2024, alleging that medicines provided by donors were stolen and sold in pharmacy. User Mission Director Dr. Jim Wright said the assessment discovered that 90% of the pharmacies sell stolen medicine donated to Liberia. Mr. Wright said that the medicine is only available to patients with enough money to buy them. The task force to probe the scandal includes representatives from the National Health Workers Union of Liberia, the Independent Health Task Force of Liberia, the Ministers of Health as ex officio, and the chief pharmacist of Liberia, the Liberia Medical and Dental Council, the Liberia Medicine and Health Product Regulatory Authority, Liberia Pharmacy Board, Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, the Ministry of Justice I also part of the team. The task force is chaired by Dr. David Sumo, chairman of the Liberian Medicine and Health Products Regulatory Authority Board of Directors. In a swift response to James Wright accession, former Health Minister Dr. William Minajala termed the statement as unrealistic. Dr. Jala added that despite report of stolen medical supply, the ministry launched an investigation which proved that nothing was stolen. Liberia Health Minister Dr. Louis M. Koto explained the task force significance on Tuesday, 2021, May 2024, as well as attended media engagement held in the ministry conference room. Dr. Koto said that they constituted a task force to investigate drug diversion following donation to the ministry by donors and the government. Dr. Koto disclosed that the investigation will ensure a holistic and inclusive approach to addressing the systematic challenges that bedevils the health sector. She noted that the task force would work diligently to identify the root causes of issues such as the diversion and misappropriations of medicines and medical supplies designated for hospitals and clinics. She assured Liberians that the investigation would take a holistic approach when the task force started because it could call all those involved. She continued that they could look at the user report and invite colleagues to give some clarification. According to her, they acknowledged receipt of the user report from so setting up the task force is one of the mechanisms for intervention that focuses on addressing the problems and challenges confronting the sector. Dr. Koto revealed that the task force particular emphasis is on monitoring the distribution and appropriate utilizations of medical products provided by both donors and the government to public care institutions. Dr. Koto further stated that the task force was constituted based upon the report from USIP and other reports that they have been getting from the field, which indicate drug diversion in the health sector. To achieve this, we have initiated strategic intervention carried out, among which is the formation of the National Health Task Force of Liberia. She explained, health sector, both private and public, to identify documents that challenges and bottlenecks that have been hindering the provision of quality health services to our citizens, said Dr. Koto. She expressed confidence that the work of the National Public Health Institute Task Force will create a healthcare system that will truly serve the needs of the Liberian people. I'd encourage all Liberians to support the task force work and to collaborate with us in building a resilient healthcare system for Liberia, she pleaded. With this being said, this is how we move over to another development under the New Dawn newspaper. 86,000 controversy engulf MCSS. 86,000 controversy engulfs MCSS. Wow, these are very, very interesting developments. As Workers' Union protests, controversy has engulfed the Monrovia Consolidated School System over 86,000 renovation budget, leading to protests. The Monrovia Consolidated School System finds itself embroiled into 86,000 controversy Monday, intended for the renovation of its central office on 12th Street, single as Workers' Union gave 8 counts, among others demanding the removal of Assistant Superintendent Emmanuel Robertson. According to the report, 86,000 was allotted in the national budget for the renovation of the central office building. But since the roof of the building is not in good condition and the office leak, the MCC superintendent decided to outsource Eagle Construction Company owned by proprietor Gordon Key, who agreed to pre-finalize the project. As per the agreement, the system technical staff assessed the building, which revealed that it would cost 86,000. Speaking to journalists on Monday during the protest in front of the MCC central office, the head of the Workers' Union, Dr. Johnson M. Cummings, explained that the superintendent decided to call a meeting to discuss the matter, but to the dismay of the employee, Assistant Superintendent Robertson allegedly objected on basis that the money was too much to be used only on the building when he had no authority to contract negotiation and is not signatory to any of the system's account. He argued that the assistant superintendent had been disrespectful to his boss during senior management meeting. He further alleges that Dr. Robertson lacks the experience and understanding required for the role, and his appointment has led to a deteriorating professional environment within the MCSS. Mr. Comey outlines 8 counts for Robertson removal from office, including allegations of unprofessional behavior, disrespect towards senior staff, and making unilateral decisions without consultation, which prompted the workforce to lock the building and protest against the assistant superintendent. Besides, the Director of Communications and Public Relations Officer, Samuel Union, said they could respond to the protest as soon as possible, claimed that the appointment of Dr. Robertson as assistant superintendent violates the act that created the MCSS. According to him, the act gives the superintendent and the council the right to vet and select an assistant superintendent. However, he denounced Superintendent Robertson for opposing his boss, Superintendent John Flobo, who could be held accountable if there were malpractices for his part. Cross Steinberg, who claimed that to be a worker of MCSS, revealed that the system minister's true agenda is to overhaul the system. Given past corrupt practices, he sees the money allotted for building renovation as too much, noting that the sum of the money could be used to renovate the public schools with dilapidated conditions. She described the Superintendent Flomo's current endeavors as a conspiracy intended to corrupt the system. However, with Mr. Robertson standing in his way, it is difficult, so they are rallying against him. However, Mr. Turner denied that Robertson had ever opposed the superintendent when he opposed something he could benefit the system. According to her, there is a system where people increase uniforms from MCSS, resulting into the leadership receiving 20,000 and 40,000. Mr. Robertson has vowed to halt the process, which the leadership perceive as a threat. He said Mr. Robertson's insistence on canceling this practice and prohibiting uniform sales has caused friction, leading to protests. Additionally, Mr. Robertson suggested reducing graduation fee from $5,000 Liberian dollars to $3,500, further exacerbating tensions. Furthermore, Tama accused superintendent of violating the same act that prevented him from appointing Emmanuel Ray as executive director for administration, a position not recognized under the MCSS framework. Tama perceived a conspiracy against Dr. Robertson because of his opposition to certain corrupt practices allegedly endorsed by the superintendent. However, speaking on a local radio station the same day, Mr. Robertson clarified that he is not opposing to renovation of the central office, but he has raised concern about the exorbitant costs. During the meeting, I did not propose using $86,000 for building renovation, but I said that the funding was too excessive and could instead be allocated to renovate public schools with dilapidated structures, he clarified. He argued that it is unjustifiable to allot a significant sum solely for the renovation of the head office while public schools need repair. He maintained that the proposed renovation budget does not align with the institution's overall need. Therefore, only a portion of the amount should be used for the renovation. Meanwhile, Robertson has noted that if the role as a superintendent and assistant superintendent is merely to observe without having a voice, he could willingly resign, but reminded that his mandate is to manage schools and intends to fulfill that responsibility diligently. With this being said, this is how we move over to Front Page Africa newspaper. But before moving to Front Page Africa newspaper, we would love to take a short technical break and do a few adjustments in our back end year.
Hello dear, my name is K. Lyndon Toba. I'm in search of a platform where I can get credible information of our daily happenings in Liberia and the world at large.
Hello, K. Lyndon Toba. My name is Gwefina Nkorishpa. Haven't you heard about Focal Online TV?
You say Focal Online TV?
Focal Online TV is located within a Tobo Village community along the Japanese Highway.
Tell me more about the platform.
This platform, called Focal Online TV Daily Edition of Inside the Print Media, does not encourage any form of dialogue between the viewers and the presenters.
Oh, you mean nobody calling there?
No, you can't call on a show. Let me talking out like when we're no calling there. So all you can do is you will listen to the news, and they can also encourage you to buy the newspaper to listen to the news in details.
But do you do viewer recognition at times?
Oh yes, we do viewer recognition. When you are watching, we notify you, and sometimes we even appreciate you on a show, telling you thank you for always following us.
All right, welcome back, folks. It is actually good to inform our people, because the issues about misinformation sometimes spark something different in our country. And like considering the fact that Liberia as a country has experienced 14 years of conflict, I want to believe that as part of the reasons that propelled the conflicts that we experience, or made it or transpire some of the things we experienced as a country, it was actually regarding to the issues about misinformations and disinformations. So let's go over to the Front Page Africa newspaper to break you developments regarding what Front Page Africa is reporting. How summons Commerce and Agriculture Minister over rice price hike amid public outcry. How summon Commerce and Agriculture Ministers over rice price hike amid public outcry. In the wake of the pronouncement by Commerce Minister Amin Mudai that the government of Liberia has given in to importers' demand to increase the price of rice on Liberian market, the House of Representatives has invited the Minister of Commerce and Agriculture to appear before its full plenary next Tuesday, May 28. The motion was proffered by Representative Ato Red, District 3, Magidi County, and amended called on Minister Mudad and Agriculture Minister Alexander Nyantwa to appear and explain in details reason behind the move and to outline sustainable plans to solving the age-old rice problem. Plenary decision followed two separate communications from Representative Frank Safoko, District 9, Montserrat County, and Matthew Fapla Joe, District 3, Grand Bassa County, seeking the House indulgence to invite the Commerce Minister following his pronouncement about the increase. The lawmakers in their communication warned that touring with the price of rice has had a historic negative impact, and as such, decision in increasing the price of rice, the nation's staple food, could be carefully examined. Representative Foucault we can vividly remember on April 14, 1979, that the proposed increment in the price of a bag of rice left unending scarred on many Liberians. This eventually culminated in the 1980 bloody coup that ran into the 1990 war and heightened divisions until date. Our citizens are impoverished and struggle by the day to get ends meet, with sickness, a huge gap between the haves and have not. With the government attracting limited investment opportunity, this latest move is geared to create more hardship, unbearable, and consequential suffering for the ordinary Liberian. Minister Mudai, in the pronouncement on Monday, clarified that not all the varieties of rice in price increase. According to him, the increment of the price of rice to $18.50 is restricted to the Indian parboiled rice and does not affect other brand of rice on the market. The increment does not impact other rice on the market. Our inspectorate will be very vigilant to ensure that rice importers do not capitalize on this increase the price of rice, white rice, or the 10% or 20% Indian parboiled and other rice varieties. He said importers have also brought other varieties of shorter grain rice and will remain $16 for a 25 kg bird. But Representative Foucault said that the new price is unacceptable. This new this new price increase is troubling for our people, both for far and near. Those the harsh reality of this exercise have the proclivity to push other commodities higher, as well as cause havoc in our nation. As you may be aware, this proposed astronomical increase of the $18.50 is a Monrovia price. Leads to think about the people living in towns and villages with deplorable road conditions that which will stimulate dramatic escalations in price variations because of the difficulty faces in transporting commodities to rural communities. As a result, our people will feel the pinch of the insensitive and imaginable uh, rise in the price of essential consumable. With this being said, this is how we will close on all of our news presentation for today. Many thanks to all of you who have been consistently following our broadcast, and many thanks. This is how we choose to wind down the curtain on today's presentation due to network challenge in our end here.